Okay, let's see. How does this sound? We're quiet, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's not a huge deal for me, though.
How does it sound for you?
I mean, I'm not really getting any of you in the headphones, but I don't really need it.
How about now?
Yeah, now for sure.
Okay, good. Remi Russin, welcome to Are You Okay? Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for being here, or having me.
So I have so much to talk to you about, but my show is called Are You Okay? And I always start every interview I have by asking my guest if you're doing okay and how you are on this day.
Today is an okay day.
Okay.
Okay is a very good word for it.
We'll take okay.
Yeah, very, very okay.
Okay. I love that. I hope maybe tomorrow will be like better than okay.
That's the hope every day.
Well, yeah, thanks so much for taking time out of your day to be here.
Yeah,
super excited to talk with you about new music, old music, music process, all music things.
I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah. Do you want to just start by introducing yourself a little bit and the type of music you make, maybe?
Yeah, sure. I'm Remi, just sort of Burlington local music cretin.
Sure.
I guess most recently I've been making a lot of like indie pop, kind of new wave inspired stuff. Maybe some like a little bit of shoegaze in there if I'm feeling adventurous.
Nice. Cool. That's super exciting. How long have you been in town for?
I grew up in Vermont. I grew up actually up in like Swanton, St. Albans.
Okay, native.
Oh yeah. I've been in Burlington. I live in Winooski now. I've been here for since like 2015.
Cool.
Left for college, came back, and have been sort of just around town for maybe like 8 years now.
Yeah. Wow. And have you been doing music that whole time?
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool.
So Evan and Alex Rain, very good childhood friends of mine, actually.
So cool.
We met in like second grade. We've been making music with Community Garden since right about 2015.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Isn't that like the I feel like the high school dream is to have a band with like all of your friends, and then you actually just like did it.
Yeah, well, it's wild because like the three of us have been playing music together. Well, like we were in band class together in school.
Yeah.
And
wow.
Like we hit middle school and we all bought instruments and we're like playing Green Day covers in their basement.
Of course.
And then like I went to New York for college. They went to Connecticut, and we just came back and started a band.
Wow, that is like so amazing.
Yeah, so I owe them a lot.
Yeah. Okay, I heard Green Day, but I want to know, like, before we get into Remi music now, what was like childhood Remi listening to? What are some of your influences?
I was listening to a lot of like middle schooler pop punk Green Day.
Of course.
Blink-182 was big.
Yeah.
I liked a lot of like They Might Be Giants was really big.
Okay, sure.
Neutral Milk Hotel was big.
Okay.
Just like sad, whiny kid, like suburban kid music.
Yes, yeah. I know it all too well.
Yeah.
This show is called Are You Okay? Because when I was like in my adolescence, I just like took to like sad, sort of like indie, but also like, I don't know, a little bit of like a harder sound. And I would always like play my music for my friends and family, and they'd be like, dude, are you doing okay? Like this song rocks. It's like the most sad song ever.
I'm so angry for no reason.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, I'm like on my way to public school, by the way, in my like middle class, like New Hampshire town, like totally fine, like being so angry. Anyway, that's why the show is like literally named after that experience that I think so much of us have.
Mm-hmm. Pretty universal.
Yes. Okay, cool. So you've been making music for quite some time. Super exciting. And you've had some music out under this name, but this is kind of your first big album, is that right?
Yeah, definitely. So I made another sort of little EP over the pandemic, because like who didn't make music during the pandemic?
Yeah, who didn't come out with an EP during the pandemic?
Yeah, exactly. And so that was like that's called Math for Poets. That came out a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. And that was sort of the like that was that was like the break. That was the solo record, right?
Yeah, of course.
And so, this is definitely like taking that project at the time was like, I'm killing time because everyone's locked in our houses.
Yeah.
Right? And this was, this album is like, okay, I'm going to do that same thing, but I'm going to kind of do it in earnest.
Yeah.
And like really try and just like take that model and that formula and like do it the best that I can, you know, just put as much into it as I can.
Yeah. Did you, for the first record, do you feel like you drew on emotion from the pandemic? Was it like old stuff where you were like, well, now I have the time to do it? Mm-hmm. Was it because of the pandemic? Like, how did you create during that time?
Yeah, that was like my goal at that time was like, again, like it was just a way to kill time. I was just looking for something to do. And I'm like, I'm going to learn how to record at home. And so like the song, like on Math for Poets, the songs are kind of incidental. Like the writing came kind of second. It was really just like a study in like, how do I get the sounds I want?
Yeah.
So like that, I really look at that record as like a technical, it was a study. It was a project to like build out a studio and was just kind of throwing down chord progressions, you know, incidentally. And this time around, I definitely was sort of like, okay, everything I learned there, but now I'm going to like try to write good songs, you know?
Yeah. I totally get it. It's cool. And I feel like we're jumping around now, but your new record is like so well produced and has like the sound, like the sound is just there, like for that type of music. I feel like it's so like niche in particular and like so in the pocket the whole time. Thank you for sending it to me early. So often I'll have interviews with guests and then we'll be talking about new music and I haven't been able to listen to it yet, but like a really cool opportunity that I did get to listen through to it. And again, I'm jumping around now, but the sound is just there.
Thanks.
You recorded your music there?
Yeah. So me and my live band that I have for this project, we rented a house down in like Manchester, Vermont.
Yeah, sure.
And yeah, just recorded it ourselves in a weekend.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was like in part like I was cheap and I wanted to save some money, and in part like I just wanted to just see if I could do it, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like sort of this new wavy stuff is pretty, like a lot of especially the indie sort of new wave records from like the 80s and early 90s.
Yeah.
All sound like crap.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I felt like it was really forgiving. Like if I made some mistakes on this kind of sound, like it was going to be okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that
yeah.
Totally makes
So
sense.
I recorded it and mixed it myself sort of this summer.
Yeah. Got it. I'm wondering now. I'm jumping back, but we had to talk about sound because I think it does matter, and like it really is polished, and I feel like it's so cool that I always think it's very cool. I know I struggle with this. I write and make music too, and I really struggle with like only wanting to put something out if every single aspect is like perfect. And it bothers it bothers me, and I know like, well, I can't do X, Y, or Z thing, like I can't record my own music, or like I don't know how to make, so it's like, well, then I'm not gonna do it unless I wait 8 months and save up money to go get it like mixed and mastered, or to like get people to produce it, or I'm waiting for other people who are better musicians, and whatever it is. Like there are so many things I think as musicians that can hold you back, and I actually really like aspire to be like, I really want to learn how to do this thing, so I'm gonna just do it. I think that's really, really cool. And like especially nowadays, like there's this sort of and in a lot of ways, like it's kind of self-defeating, but there's this culture that like an artist has to be their own producer and be their own mastering engineer, and like you have to do it all yourself. I think in part just because like studio time is so limited. There's so many people out there trying to make records.
and also I think there's just like this narcissistic sort of twinge in an artist's brain of like, if it's not sort of maybe this is just me, but if it's not like my everything, then then I'm not living up to some really toxic version, like image of an artist in my head, right?
Yeah. No, I think that's like deeply relatable, and I think when I was more insecure about my abilities as an artist or as a musician, I almost like doubled down on like, oh, well, I need to record the guitar because like it's my song, and it's like now I'm like, can anyone volunteer? Please. Like, please, I'm out here playing like my 4-chord wonders, and otherwise like would much prefer to have a talented musician come in and like record something that they could. And I mean, we live in a fantastic place for musicians where there are so many talented people. Like, let them do their thing,
Yeah, totally. We're so lucky.
Yeah, I feel that all the time.
Yeah.
I want to know, I guess, before we kind of dive into the new record. First of all, I love all your song names.
Oh, thank you.
And like the names for all your albums. Can you tell me about how you got Math for Poets? And the naming process in general was like a question that I had.
Sure,
like I love all your names for not for some reason. I mean, for an obvious reason, but they all have like tone to them, right? Like
definitely.
And I want to know like what's your process with that?
Sure. So I mean, Math for Poets particularly was like, I took a class in college that was called Math for Poets, and it was sort of the like, look, you're an art kid. You need a math credit. Like, we're gonna teach you fractions. Like, just come take this class. And that like, it felt. I kept going back to that when I was making it because like I said, like it was I was learning all of this from scratch, and so it felt very like. It felt like I was teaching myself the 101 sort of like it was really remedial and like sort of like in our kid trying to do science kind of that feeling.
Yes I know well
and so it felt appropriate so that's where I drew that from. But a lot of the times, like the song titles are sort of just working titles on like Logic sessions that stick.
Yeah.
Like I got to name this file something, and then after a while, I just get attached.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of the time, that's sort of where those come from. But I think you're right that they're always like sort of tonally. Even if like. The text is sort of a non sequitur to the meat of the song. Like the subtext is always pretty closely tied.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know why. Like, well, I don't want to be like critical in any way, but sometimes I'll like hear a song and be like, that is a throwaway song title. Like, come on, we couldn't have done anything other than the one word that the chorus is. Like, come on. But yeah, I feel like I appreciate tone in the song title. It makes it feel like holistic or like you really thought through the whole process.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm glad it comes off that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, talk to me about the new album. First of all, it comes out Friday, October 20th.
Yeah.
Which will be
tomorrow.
This is the before times, but in the current times, it comes out tomorrow, which I also have been doing this, but we should say dates because I put all of these on YouTube.
Sure.
Hi, anyone who's listening to this on YouTube like a month later. So I always forget to say dates, and we should do that.
Sure. Yeah. October 20th, 2023.
Yes. Friday. Okay.
Yeah.
Like Thursday at midnight type of deal?
Yeah,
or like
I mean, Spotify will do it itself.
Yeah, Spotify does that thing.
I think it'll be at midnight kind of thing, but...
Yeah, exciting. Cool. And do you want to say the name of the album and then just tell us about it? How did it come to be?
Sure, yeah. I mean, so the album's called A Second Pass, and it is sort of a... sort of spiritual, I guess, successor to Math for Poets, right? Like if Math for Poets was sort of my attempt at learning like to record a guitar and make it sound like a guitar on my laptop, like A Second Pass was sort of taking all of those technical skills and on top of those, kind of this time the skill that I was teaching myself was songwriting.
Yes.
So it was sort of. I mean, the title is very literally like it was a second pass at sort of that project.
Yeah.
They're pretty intimately linked in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Do you have like a standout song or a favorite song on the record?
I mean, I like. That's a tough.
I stumped you, huh?
You did. Because they all kind of scratch different itches for me. But I guess, I mean, the one that I chose as the single was Having Dogs, just because I felt like that one was a little less like your dad's Smith's records, and sort of just felt a little. It feels like it stands out a little bit differently from the rest of them. Like it's a little more. Just indie pop bent.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That one's the single. That feels like the cop-out answer.
Yeah,
like,
that's okay. Let's go there. Let's talk about the single. We're gonna play it after the interview,
cool.
which is exciting because it's already out. So
Yeah.
stream that right now, and obviously stream the album when it comes out. But talk about Having Dogs. How'd you write it? What is it about?
Yeah. So that it is a. I don't know. Well, I guess this is true for all of them. Like, I really, the way that I tend to, like, every song is sort of. Do you remember Pumped Up Kicks?
Yeah, of course I do. Of course I do.
Every song is that sort of like, it's super upbeat and dancey and like.
Yeah.
But lyrically, sort of under the surface, is a little darker.
Yes, sure.
And Dogs is sort of especially so. Like in the live set and sort of the branding for it, like I kind of play it up as like a goofy little like I love my dog. Here he is. Like here's a picture of him. But that song's like it gets into like I for pretty much my whole life I've struggled with anxiety, depression, right? I don't know how much we want to get into that.
Listen, I'm already there if you're there.
And like I'm older and have dealt with it for a long time, and like I have a lot of coping mechanisms now. Like I can get through the day most of the time fine, but like sometimes those don't hold up.
Yeah.
So that song is about how like having a pet who like people kind of will understand if you're having a bad mental health day, right? Mm-hmm. Like even if you're pushing folks away or like like creating like hitting them with some negative energy, like they know what's going on. My dog just gets confused and worried. And so when everything else fails, like that's sort of I've found that can still sort of get me out of bed in the morning.
Wow.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's like so powerful. I'm sort of just letting it sink in. Yeah, that's beautiful. Also, like so deeply relatable to so many people. I think it's crazy how impactful like animals can be, and there's this sort of like purity, I guess, about like animals in so many ways, in the same way almost like with kids, right? Where it's like kids are the same way. Exactly. Whereas like they're not really understanding that. I like love working with kids, and I just like always find so much joy from it. But kids can't understand like this person is having a mental health issue, right? Exactly. But they can immediately tell, like they get confused, right? They sort of know, like, well, you're not doing what you usually do, or you're not showing up in a way that I'm used to you showing up, and they like mirror and reflect and help in the way that they can. It's like very similar. I don't know. Is it bad to be comparing children and animals? I don't know, but
I did like ABA stuff for a while. So, I mean that whole field is was just kind of comparing children to animals.
Yeah,
I feel like.
basically.
I got out of that.
No one cancel us. I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know if that's bad.
I stopped doing that type of work for reasons.
Yeah, sure. I get it.
Yeah, so no, I think that it's all we all have the same, our brains come from the same place.
Yeah.
You go back far enough.
It's sure. Stuff. We're basically all animals.
We're all the same.
We all actually are animals, just trying to,
we all come from the same.
Just trying to make
goo.
it.
I don't like.
That's awesome. Okay. Well, Oh, actually, before I want to talk to you about kind of what's next, tell us about your album release show.
Yeah, so that is also occurring tomorrow, Friday, October 20th, 2023. That's going to be up at Despacito Bar and Kitchen in the Old North End. That's going to be a lot of fun. We've been working on that for like the last couple of months to make it really something special.
Yeah.
Father figure.
Yeah, special guest / like I was gonna say friend of the show, but they're like my friend of like I'm their friend, they are not my friend, but I wish they were, like, not that they've been on the show, but I play father figure all the time on here. Like
certifiably one of the sweetest people to ever pass through Burlington,
and just like insanely talented. Unbelievable, like unmatched. Crazy.
They're coming back up to play Young Lady as well. Amel Abdelrahman, she plays in my band.
Cool.
Incredible songwriter.
Awesome.
Of Lake Waves. I don't know if they.
Okay.
They wrapped up earlier this year, and this is sort of the new iteration of that.
Very cool.
So they're going to be opening as well. It's going to be a real family affair.
Yay.
So I'm excited.
And what time does that start?
Doors are at 7. Music will probably start around 7:30.
Nice. Yeah. Awesome. So exciting.
I am excited.
You are excited? Yes. That's so awesome. Okay. I want to hear, this album is out. If I know anything about how music works, like, I bet you've been done with those songs for maybe some time, and
a couple years.
Yeah, that's right. So, it's crazy, right? Isn't it crazy how long it takes?
It takes so long.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Tell me what's next for you. Are you working on new music? Have you taken a break? Are you exhausted?
I am exhausted. It's been like those songs are a couple years old now. It's been 2 years of just plowing through the process and like teaching them to the band slowly and like doing it all. I pretty much single-handedly. Trevor Snowden mastered it, and it sounds fantastic. But so I need a break after. And, I would love to get like this whole process. I've just been like. I haven't been out to a show in like that I'm not playing.
Wow.
In just like a really long time. And I'd love to just reconnect and like, there's so many great like new, like the college kids are starting so many cool bands that I would love to see. So I need some time, maybe this winter, to just sort of reconnect with the community and get back out there. And, I'm always I'm always working on new stuff. I've got half ideas.
Of course.
I would love to flesh out eventually. But I need some time.
As you should. Take like all the time that you need, right? That's sort of like the way it goes. But it is funny, right? We like stop writing music, and then we have this like big space of time where you're working on the production and all the other things, which is similarly exhausting. And then that's sort of why it takes so long, I feel like.
Especially because it sounds like you're in a similar boat, like working full time on top of
music.
How do you like?
Yes.
There's how do you compete with the kids who are trust funds just making music for 20 hours a day?
I wish. I was again, like I said, I had Will Andrews on the show last week, and I was saying to him off mic, I work full time and I'm in grad school and I do the show, and then I try to make music too in my free time that I have. And I was saying to him, I just like, if I could just like Bon Iver, like Justin Vernon it, and go to the woods for like 3 weeks, like I could make. Gosh. And he stopped me. Like, I really appreciate it. He kind of stopped me and was like, listen, like if that's the way that you think, like you're never gonna you're never going to get
never
there.
gonna do it,
Like the actual thing you can do is like be prepared, like have all of your stuff together. So that way, when you do have the 10 minutes or you think of something, or maybe it's just sending an email a day, like maybe it's just sending your like new album to some random radio host on, you know, or whatever it is, or reaching out. Like it could be all these little things, but like the idea that it's like, well, if I just had this thing, or if I could just collaborate with this person, or if I just had this amount of time, then I could make whatever. It's like, oh gosh, it's actually like a toxic thing. Like the reality is you just make music when you can. Exactly. Like that's the only thing you can do. Forcing it never works. Like never.
So many of the songs on this record too are just like a year's worth of an hour at a time before I go make dinner. Like, you know, you just chip away.
Yeah, 100%. I it's like on my list. I want to go back through, like, I got the voice memos, the notes, the whatever. But honestly, most of the time that I end up writing songs, it's just a colossal dump of like 100 different notes on my phone that I have from random little things from around town, and then I will be like, ooh, these 5 ideas, let me like stick them into one song, or like I'm literally just copy and pasting things that I like, little notes that I've written, you know, and like sometimes that's how it works. And also like none of it works until it does, right? Like nothing makes sense, and then all of a sudden you're like, this is a song. I think
this might be a song. Yeah, one of my favorite things to do is like I do a lot of like I'll kind of just make loops, like maybe a little 8-bar loops, right, and then forget about them for a year, and then you come back a year later and it's like, here's a free song idea. And you can, like, you know, it takes, you know, so you sit on it for that time and then you come back and you don't, like, I have probably 100 of those on my computer, like, just things that are not even ideas, like, you know, but when I get that 10 minutes to sit down and play guitar,
it's
like,
there.
It's there's something to build off of.
Totally. That's so awesome.
You don't have to start from scratch.
Yeah. Well, Remi, tell people where they can find you and your music, maybe. Yeah.
So I'm on Instagram mainly, Remi_Russin_Vivo. I post there a lot. My music is, I think, on all the big ones. It should be anyway.
Sure.
Bandcamp, Spotify, Apple Music, you know, Tidal probably. I haven't checked.
Cool. Sweet.
Yeah, wherever you listen to music, I think it's probably there.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, Remi, thank you so much for being on Are You Okay?
Thank you so
We're
much.
going to hear Having Dogs right now, and go stream the full album when it comes out tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Forget